Utah Connections.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to UCA News. It's great to see all of you, and welcome to Semester B. We are so excited to have you all back for another great semester.
Exactly. Well, to kick off the new semester, let's start with classic joke of the week.
I walked into the kitchen yesterday and I said to my dad, "Hey, I'm hungry." And my dad said, "Hi, hungry. I'm Dad."
That was priceless. Now for fact of the week. You know, we actually lost our anchor files, so the anchors for this episode were filmed at 8 a.m. this morning.
Wow. I learn something new every time we watch one of these. I gotta love our segments here.
I do love the fact, but I think my favorite is the quote of the week. Lucky for me, that's up next.
The bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. Michael Altschler.
Now let's go to Mystery Image.
Welcome to Mystery Image. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is Mystery Image? Well, each week we will take an image and zoom it in so you can barely see what it is. And then you will submit your guesses for what the image is. And the person who guesses it will be featured on the next episode of UCA News. Wow, I like the mystery sound, so this should be exciting.
We also have this amazing interview with Mrs. Sparks. Let's go to that. Hello, everyone. Today we have an amazing math teacher here at UCA, Mrs. Sparks. We have a few questions for you. First one being, have you taught any other subjects?
That's a great question, Lauren. I have. I started as a math teacher, and then I was a computer teacher, a robotics teacher. I taught middle school science for a while, and then I decided, you know what, I miss math. And so I went back to math.
That's a lot of different subjects.
Yeah.
Our second question is, what is your favorite math problems?
Wow, that's a hard one. I think any problem that I can adapt to my real world. So, if I'm doing something and I think, okay, how is this going to affect my life? How can I use this math in the real world? And I like to do that in my live lessons a lot. Sometimes we have students get on the microphone and they try and stump me. So they say, when am I ever going to use this? And most of the time I can tell you when you're going to use it in your real life. So that's kind of fun. Those are my favorite problems.
Have prepared comebacks for those students. Our third question is, what is your favorite math unit or area of math?
I love teaching geometry. I think geometry is super fun because once students start learning geometry, you can start seeing geometry in your world and you start recognizing angles and shapes, and I think it's fun. So I really enjoyed teaching that unit.
That seems like a fun unit to teach. And how many students do you teach here at UCA?
So this semester I have about 160, and they range from 7th graders all the way up to 10th and 11th graders. So it's fun. I get to teach a lot of different students.
A lot of different personalities.
Yeah, definitely.
This is more of a fun question. Gimkit or Kahoots?
I am a Kahoot lover. I'm a little old school, so I love Kahoot.
And what is one thing that people don't really know about you?
I am dyslexic. And so growing up, math was not always easy because numbers will sometimes flip. But I have learned as an adult that that's my superpower. I can read backwards. I can type backwards. It's kind of fun.
That's a really cool way to look at something like that. And what is possibly one of the most random facts that you know, just out of everything?
Wow, that's quite a question. Let's see. What is the most random facts? Goodness. What random facts do I know? I know that currently it is 72 degrees in Charleston, South Carolina, which is where I live.
That makes a little more sense than just randomly knowing the temperature somewhere. What is one of the things you love about UCA that brick and mortar schools don't necessarily have?
I get to know my students a lot better. Because you're not just in my classroom for maybe an hour-long class, but we are calling each other, we're meeting and in and out. I'm talking to your other teachers about you to see how we can help you. I get to know your parents and your siblings when I call home or when we have those like CBA appointments and things like that. I really feel like I know my students better. I get to spend more time with them.
And in your opinion, how much homework do you think a student should get, or like how long do you think a school day should be?
So I don't allow my students to do more than 2 hours of math a day because your brain gets tired and it's just completely unproductive. Ideally, 1 hour of math is perfect. And so if you can do one lesson in 1 hour and then put it away and come back to it tomorrow, your brain stays healthy. And yeah, once you just start piling up when you get behind and you have all those lessons and you try and complete them all at once, just your brain gets tired. You're just not learning as much.
That's a good point. And last but definitely not least, could you give us an outline of what your day looks like?
Yeah. So I start my day by looking at any messages that students have left me in the evening, because some of my students do homework at night. So I'm looking at my web mails, I'm looking at my texts, and I'm answering those back immediately. Then I grade. And then I have office hours in the morning, meet with any student that might need some help. The middle of my day is spent in either some whole group live lessons, maybe some small group live lessons. I meet with students one-on-one throughout the day. Then I have lunch. It's time for in and out. After in and out, I teach a small group mini math lesson. And then after in and out, we do clubs. And so I'm involved in several different clubs here at UCA as well. So I get to kind of hang out with kids in a social sense and not necessarily with your subjects.
I think that's really cool that you do multiple things. And is there anything else you would like to share in this interview?
I love UCA. And I think that we have some of the most incredible students of any that I have ever taught. I just love being here. I love being a part of this school. It's just a great place to be.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Lauren.
That's awesome. I love seeing our teachers being shouted out to. They all deserve to be stars. Now to move on to a look back at Hawaii with Max.
Aloha. Maui is nicknamed the Valley Isle because many of the towns on this island are sandwiched between its two major mountain ranges, Haleakala and the West Maui Mountains. Maui has 120 miles of coastline and 30 miles of beaches, including black sand beaches, which are made of crushed and eroded volcanic material. Ka'anapali Beach is my favorite beach on Maui, and it has beautiful sunsets. Maui is also home to one of the world's largest dormant volcanoes, Haleakala. Each year, about 10,000 humpback whales migrate to the waters around Maui. In fact, prior to the 1850s, whaling was a very important industry in Maui, and over 700 whaling ships would come through Lahaina, a town on the west side of Maui. Mahalo for joining me again. See you next time.
I think Hawaii is such an awesome place. Well, that's all for this week.
We'll return next week, and we hope to see you all there because we're UCA.